Most of us have a stack of books sitting on a nightstand that we genuinely want to read. But at the end of a long day, it is almost always easier to pick up our phones and start scrolling. To fix this, thousands of people are turning to a booming travel industry, the reading retreat. You pack your bags, travel to a country house or boutique hotel, and read alongside strangers. Companies are currently charging anywhere from $1,000 to over $7,000 for the privilege. It sounds absurd at first glance. Reading is completely free. Why would anyone pay a massive luxury premium to do something they could easily do on their own couch? To understand the appeal, we have to look backward. This image shows the grand reading room of the New York Public Library. For most of history, reading was highly communal. Before widespread electricity, families gathered around a single light source to read together. It started as a practical necessity, but it built a focused environment. People read aloud while others worked, swapped recommendations, and debated ideas. It enforced a physical space dedicated to social engagement. Today, modern life has dismantled those physical spaces. Reading became an isolated, silent habit, competing directly against screens. When you buy a ticket to a reading retreat, you are paying to artificially reconstruct that lost environment. Even recently, we had a version of this, the morning commute. For decades, the train to work acted as a built-in daily reading retreat. It was 30 quiet minutes where you were disconnected, and you could passively observe what everyone else around you was holding. Publishers capitalized on this travel environment specifically. They installed bookstalls in railway stations and created brightly colored, cheap paperbacks perfectly sized for a journey. This chart shows how those ambient spaces evaporated. Over a decade, U.S. library visits plummeted 56%. Meanwhile, work-from-home numbers more than doubled. And for those commuting, reliable underground Wi-Fi filled those forced offline windows with digital distraction. Adults are turning to reading retreats as an expensive cure for this distraction. But the models available vary drastically. You might end up at a boozy cabin party, or you might end up in a silent farmhouse in France. Because the structures are so different, a standard ROI analysis doesn't work. You have to match your specific psychological deficit to the correct retreat model. If you misdiagnose what you actually need, you risk wasting thousands of dollars on the wrong trip. This comparison matrix maps financial investment directly to psychological needs. We'll evaluate 3 distinct models, starting with the social model. Retreats like Page Break represent this. You pay around $1,000 for a weekend, which includes elaborate shared meals, flowing wine, and group activities. The primary outcome here is pure connection. Founders of these specific retreats often state that their main key performance indicator is whether participants leave with a new friend, but that structure comes with a clear trade-off. This is a high distraction environment. With constant social pull and activities, you are highly unlikely to finish a dense, complex novel. With the social model, you aren't buying an environment for deep focus. You're paying for a specialized networking event disguised as a reading group. Next, we evaluate the wellness model, which targets a completely different demographic. The inputs here are extreme. You invest anywhere from $2,000 to over $9,000 for premium access to European spas, chef-prepared meals, and saunas. The outcome you get for that price is the complete removal of domestic duties and decision fatigue. No one asks you what is for dinner. It treats reading exactly like getting a facial, as restorative self-care. The trade-off is that a luxury environment does not physically force you to concentrate. A beautiful sea view will not stop you from scrolling on your phone if the house provides Wi-Fi. With the wellness model, you are not paying for reading time. You are paying a massive premium for the aggressive outsourcing of domestic labor. Finally, we arrive at the introvert model, designed for absolute minimal interaction. Here, you pay roughly $1,300 to travel to a remote location, where the host explicitly promises to leave you alone. The clear outcome is maximum reading volume. By stripping away the social games and the spa treatments, this model gives you the highest likelihood of a successful digital detox, but it completely eliminates the community aspect. This raises a practical question. Could you achieve this exact same result by renting a cheaper local cabin an hour from your house? Isolation models prove that sometimes acquiring true focus simply requires buying geographical distance from your daily routines. This decision tree will map your profile to your optimal choice. You just have to answer one question: what is your primary goal? If you are a community seeker, someone who already reads but feels isolating doing it, you belong in the social model. It bridges the gap between solitary reading and connection. If you are a burnt-out caregiver, map yourself to the wellness model. The extreme cost is justified only if you view the trip as a mental health vacation, where reading is a secondary bonus. But if you are a distracted optimizer, someone who just wants pure focus, a premium retreat is an inefficient investment. Unless the location enforces strict hardware lockboxes for your devices, you will likely waste your money. The return on your investment depends entirely on accurately diagnosing exactly what your daily life lacks. There is a highly cost-effective alternative. Author Gretchen Rubin recently executed what we will call the DIY model, designed for people who want the core benefits without the massive financial barrier. The inputs are entirely under your control. You book a local hotel stay with a friend, agree to shared meals, and enforce strict phone-free hours. This setup successfully replicates the lack of domestic duties. Someone else cleans the room. And having a reading partner provides built-in accountability. You save thousands of dollars, but you have to act as your own project manager and rigorously enforce your own rules. Whether you pay $7,000 for a Welsh manor or $200 for a local hotel, you are not buying books. You are investing in the environmental design necessary to protect your attention.